Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, as we continue to add to the Boston Wrestling MWF family, the Boston MWF Library. It is the premiere edition here on Monday, March the 29th, 2021, the anniversary of WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. It is the anniversary of WrestleMania 14 with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, with Iron Mike Tyson as the guest referee right here in Boston. It is the premiere of Wrestling Insiders with a man who brought the original Boston Garden to its feet at its one and only pay-per-view at Survivor Series 93. He's the man that almost blew the roof off of the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, when his duo challenged the Quebecers for the tag team titles at WrestleMania 10. He is the one. He is the only. In the world of Hollywood Casanova race, but in the world of professional wrestling, he is from the team of Men on a Mission. He's the Oscar. Oscar, thank you for joining us here on the premiere installment of what should be a very interesting series.
Man, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it tonight. Looking forward to it down the road. Always good working with you, Mr. Marty. Love that. You gotta love that damn guy. So I'm ready to kick it off, and let's get started.
Unbelievable. Oscar has gone on to become the vice president of Boston Wrestling MWF with his longtime close personal friend, Dr. David Reese, the president. Oscar is, we had to do take two due to some technical difficulties that were prepared by our crack staff over the weekend. But, since it's been so long since you and I have got together and had some fun, what's been going on in the world of coronavirus for Oscar, as well as your spouse, the lovely, dreamy Mimi?
No, well, I mean, at first, like everybody else, I took it I took it for the fear that the media projected. Like, all right, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. Nobody go outside. We're all gonna die. And so for a few months, I stayed in the house. Went out for Lysol and groceries, and that's about it. But after a while, I just woke up one day. This was last year and it was easy to stay inside too because when Corona broke, the weather was bad, and you in Boston,
Right.
you know,
Right. So
that
we know,
it's
yeah,
easy.
it wasn't sun and warmth at that point.
Right, it's easy to not go outside. And these Indiana, Chicago winters, where the wind chill can get below zero, and then you got 3 feet of snow outside, and all cause it's easy. But then the unthinkable happened. The weather broke like it's breaking now,
Yep.
and it became harder to shelter in. So I didn't throw caution to the wind, but I just let the fear escape me, and I just got on a plane and went some places. I went down to Orlando for a little vacation, kept my mask on, kept my distance away from people at the airport, on the plane, and even at the resort. And I'll have weathered through coronavirus from then till now, traveling around, getting outside, but being cautious and mindful of the restrictions. I've weathered pretty good because I never got it once.
Well, you did all right for yourself traveling. You know, you couldn't beat the prices as far as that goes. And I tell you this.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no kidding, right?
It was practically free. I'm not exaggerating. Airline tickets were well under $100. Hotel rooms were rock bottom. It was a buyer's delight to go places. But now that the shots are out, the vaccine is out, the fear's not down. People are really starting to get out. Prices are starting to go right back to where they used to be.
And that's not a good thing for us or our industry. It was nice to see the prices that low. It really helped the Paul Bearer toy drive this year, but I don't see that happening this year, that's for sure. $19 plane tickets from Tampa to Boston will be non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. Everything is going back to business as usual. In that regard, you're gonna see a spike in prices because people are gonna try to get what they missed, and so what's gonna wind up happening is, the airlines, the airports are gonna be inundated with people, and I see price gouging coming up. I see gas prices going up. I see hotel rooms gonna be sky high. Airline tickets are going to be through the roof. So it's not going to be like last year, believe me.
Well, that's unfortunate. Not a great thought. Hopefully our live events are going to be coming back to life in the second half of 2021. But, even looking at it from a business point of view, I know Mimi owns a series of salons out in your neck of the woods. How's life been on the business end of things for her?
It's been pretty. Matter of fact, I tell you what, I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
Because you could hear it from the horse's mouth. She's off today.
Oh, really?
And,
well, it is Monday. That's right. Yeah, a lot of salons aren't open on
She could tell you that better than I could because I really can't speak intelligently about it.
I find that hard to believe, but I know you're not the expert.
Hello?
Is this the one, the only longtime associate, Miss Dreamy Mimi?
This is she. How are you, Dan?
I'm happy to hear from you here on the premiere installment of Casanova Aces, Monday Night Delight, here before Monday Night Raw goes on the air at 8 p.m. No, we were talking about coronavirus life. We were talking a little bit about businesses. We know that you own a series of hair salons out in your neck of the woods. How has the coronavirus impacted, your small businesses?
You know what? It's been good for me because by them being small, my customers, I make sure that I schedule so that people can have their own private time. And
Oh,
there's
okay. Well,
not, they
that's
don't,
good.
yeah, so it's actually worked out very well for me.
They don't have to interact with each other. It's one-stop shopping.
Exactly. Yep.
A lot of precautions that have to be taken, I imagine.
Oh yeah. A lot more cleaning and Lysol and
Now, is that Oscar's duty?
I'm sorry.
Is that Oscar's duty? Does he Lysol the salon in between clients?
Yeah, right. Not a chance.
Have you seen things improving as time has gone on? I mean, I don't know what the restrictions were out where you guys were compared to Boston, but, I know it's still not open season even here in Massachusetts at this point.
Yeah, it's not completely open yet, but we've had more leniency out here than, we're right next door to Chicago. And so a lot of Chicagoans have come over to Indiana because like restaurants and things like that are actually open. They're doing, half capacity, but they are open.
They're crossing the border, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be countries we used to have to worry about crossing into, and now it's states just to be able to have a meal.
Exactly, yep.
Well, the story we'll be able to tell someday when we write our books about the year plus we've spent in coronavirus life.
It's been interesting.
Did you even know you were going to be a guest on the show, or did he just hand you the phone?
He just handed me the phone.
So you had no idea what was going to happen?
No, I didn't.
Well, I guess that's part of the fun.
It is.
It's like David Reese when he gets the, his Tinder women messaging him all day on his smartphone.
Leave my David alone.
The doctor's hours never end. He's got a PhD in psychology and even an amateur gynecologist, from what I understand. But that's a different story for a different time.
I'm giving you back over to Oscar.
It was a pleasure to hear from you, Mimi. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yes, you too.
Be good now.
Bye-bye.
And there you have it, folks. You hear it from direct, as Oscar said, from the horse's mouth, a small business owner right here in Midwest America.
Yep.
Well, I wish our world was doing as well as the hair salon business, though, Oscar. I tell you, it's been rough between the live events being decimated. That we had those events booked last spring that got flushed down the toilet, thousands in advertising dollars that have gone bye-bye, having to sit on rents, having to sit on airline tickets. It's been rough, but, we can only hope that there'll be better days ahead for us. As we noted, though, as we spoke with Mimi, the president of the organization, Dr. David Reese, has found almost luxury in what's going on with the virus.
My God.
He's in such demand.
He has found a way to turn it all around. I mean, for him, I guess he hoped the virus could never go away. Because he has a lot, and he has it easy instead of him having to, because his business subsisted on a lot of travel, and he depended on airline flights and hotels being at a low price, in order to make a profit.
Right.
But now he doesn't have to worry about that because the telepsychiatry business has picked up, which that has been, when we figured it out, Zoom and all of these FaceTime and all these media platforms has become the new norm and the way to do business. And he is, flourishing pretty much doing business that way. Because, I guess they woke up and decided, does the guy have to be laying on the couch in person next to you to tell you their problems? No, they can do it over television.
Yeah, and with people with busy lives, you think, why wasn't this more commonplace even before coronavirus? You know what I mean? If you work a 9-to-5 job, you got the kids at home, sometimes even if you need that kind of mental health help from someone like Dr. David Reese, it's kind of inconvenient to try and set aside that time every week to go in person to do it.
Yeah, but they have pretty much figured it out, and he's doing a business that way. He say he's doing 80, 90 hours a week in telepsychiatry alone.
Wow.
So, and then, from what I know, every case that every session that he has to write a pretty, a pretty substantial and detailed report that takes some hours. So if you imagine that he's doing a ton of business and got a ton of patients that way, that plus those reports keep him pretty busy. It took him a week to return my phone call this go round.
Wow.
And that's not because he doesn't like me. That's just how busy the man has been.
He's overwhelmed out there. But I mean, you talk about being lucky. If you needed to be quarantined for it'd be nice to be quarantined out in the beautiful 619 San Diego, California.
Oh my, yeah, he's in the right place out there in San Diego, California. As well, I love to be quarantined out there, but I wouldn't have behaved myself. The time I spent at home, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that back then. So the time
you would have been out and about.
The time I spent at home was when it first came out. That was good, but it's not to be. But like I said, bouncing around aside, it's not to be taken lightly. 500,000 people dead, from it, and my God, millions of cases, in the country alone, let alone worldwide.
Right.
This was a really, really, really prophecy type event that we had, and it's not to be taken lightly.
Well,
so we need to all.
I know both Dr. Fauci and Dr. Deborah Birx consulted with David Reese as the pandemic broke, so that just shows how far the man's reach goes. Hopefully he's going to be able to pry himself away from San Diego for the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion the week before my birthday this September. I know he was interested in renting out one of the Vegas casinos to have a pool party with the singers Flo Rida and Pitbull, amongst many bikini-clad women. So David Reese, he's hoping you can get your drone out of the tree so you can record it.
No, seriously, Fauci consulted with Reese?
Yes.
And he didn't tell me that. Get out of here, for real?
Yeah. Well, like you said, it takes him a while to get back to you. But, him and I, there's a gap between our messages. But once we do start to message, they go, pretty rapid fire for about 15, 20 minutes, and then he vanishes again. But, he's been needed all over the country.
Reese is probably too big for Cauliflower Alley now, so he's probably not going to make it.
Who knows who he's going to bring as a guest?
Oh my God! You know what? I've definitely got to. I got to put my call on him today, so he can get back to me eventually, because he got to tell me that one. Because we've been talking. He's been talking about bringing me on to do some, consultant work. So if he rolling in those circles, then I want to, put me in, coach.
Put Oscar in, coach. He's ready to play.
There you go.
All right, Oscar, what do you think about the landscape right now in the King of Sports Professional Wrestling? We are on the road to WrestleMania 37 in what will be a very socially distanced atmosphere at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, Saturday, April the 10th, Sunday, April the 11th, about, if they can sell that many tickets, 25,000 folks at each show. What do you think? This is the first time in over a year we've had an atmosphere that I can think of that's had even over 1,000 people at it.
So I believe wholeheartedly that they're going to meet their goal on the 10th and the 11th as far as ticket sales being 25,000. I mean, I believe if they can go over a couple thousand without anybody noticing, they might try it. But no, I believe as far as attendance goes, they're definitely going to meet their goal, and then some. And then people watching it, they got the network now on the Peacock platform. That's a brand new merger. They're going to do very, very, very good numbers in that regard too. So I think that they are on track. Funny thing, I think they're on track numbers-wise to have one of the best WrestleManias that they've had in a long time.
Well, a lot of complaints about those that have already signed up for the Peacock version of WWE Network. I've been told by friends that work there that it could be August before a lot of the programming that you've become accustomed to in the archives returns, some of the functionality of how you use WWE Network, how it comes back to be. So it's going to be, I think, once the official transfer takes over here in the United States on, I believe, April 4th, I think you're going to have a lot of unhappy campers that don't know what the transition is yet. Some people jumped the gun and they wanted to see what the Peacock version was going to be like right away. Others, like myself, continue to enjoy WWE Network as it is. But those that have not experienced Peacock yet, they're going to want to grow feathers and fly away. And I'm sure send NBC and WWE a few complaints about taking away so many features that are beloved on the award-winning WWE Network.
Yeah, no, I've had heard sporadic little stories of people unhappy, but I mean, anything, that's like you just said, anything that's brand spanking new, you know, the bugs got to be worked out. I, for one, would not have jumped from the regular network viewing to the P, especially with WrestleMania so close, because if people do not get WrestleMania and they've made the transition, that's really going to make a lot of fans pissed.
Or if they run into technical problems the day of.
Right, they run into technical problems, and you don't want to do that because, you know, when it comes down to WWE programming and WWE shows, you got some fans, that is their crack. And if they can't get the highest level, highest grade crack they're offering, then they really gonna be in a bad headspace. So I would just recommend, you know, just get whatever's reliable, what has been reliable for you right now until everything gets worked out. And it will. I mean, believe me, it will. They're really good at it. But technology is technology. So pick and choose very carefully, especially when it comes down to the WrestleMania show.
I just think they almost went a little too quick. It was almost like ready, fire, aim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you got to start somewhere.
It was big money, but
what you got? I mean, the only way to get started is to get started. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, they had to start somewhere.
Well, the technology is a little bit over my head as far as what needs to be done to transfer, you know, tens of thousands of hours into the archives of the Peacock version of WWE Network. But hopefully the fans will have patience. Hopefully by SummerSlam they'll have the WWE Network they kind of know and love now on the NBC platform. That remains to be seen. But it's going to be, for the fans in Tampa, Oscar, I think a very different experience this year. There'll be no Raw, no SmackDown, no Hall of Fame, no NXT, no WWE Fan Access, even the third-party events like WrestleCon, which we've attended in the past. That's going to be capped at 320 people per 2-hour session. I don't see any of those smaller events being a great success, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's I'm lost because there's another one
WrestleStock. Yeah, but that's at a little
WrestleStock. Yeah. Now, what's the capacity? What's the capacity for that? Because they've lined up quite an impressive roster for a WrestleCon worthy roster to do that event.
Considering that it's at a VFW type hall, I can't imagine too many.
Oh,
we're not talking a first-class hotel like WrestleCon. We're talking, you know.
Because WrestleCon go all out. In New York, they had 3 floors of
remember? Yeah, the New York version of it was nuts. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want to participate this year. To go from a weekend where you have, 7,000-8,000 people coming through the convention over the course of a weekend to have turning into 5 2-hour sessions, capped at 320 people, including the talent and the support staff. To me, that looks like a rough day at the office. You know what I mean?
No, where is WrestleCon going to be this year?
It is at a nicer hotel in Tampa. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but as far as the capacity goes, they're limiting it to 320 per session, and that includes the actual wrestlers and the people that help and so on and so forth. So that's not a lot compared to what's normally plowing through the WrestleCon conventions each year, which I said can turn into several thousand over those 2 days.
Wow. Yeah. Well, they got their work cut out for them. I'm just sorry it has to come to this. You know what I'm saying? That things can't be. They're not normal, but they can't just be more normal.
Right.
Because under those circumstances, I mean, if it was me, I'm not sure I would have went ahead and had it. But the guy that runs it, I know him. He's very intelligent. I'm pretty sure he did the math. So he had to surmise that he's going to come out with some kind of, decent profitability,
right?
And to go ahead and do it. So, I don't feel bad. I mean, especially if or if all of his sessions are sold out, near sold out, or ticket sales are just on their way to being decent, then I would just say God bless him, and I would have went ahead and did it if I was on track. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure they did their due diligence. I'm pretty sure they did the math. He doesn't seem to be one of those guys to me that flies by the seat of his pants.
No,
because he has had to make, over the years that he's had it, and I've been 3 or 4 times. I mean, he had it a nice one in New Orleans, and then out there in California, the Bay Area. That was a really good one. I attended that one. So saying that to say that he has had to have made huge profits in order to keep doing it, and then keep doing it in the way he keep doing it, because the guy goes big. What year was it? It was just a few years ago. We was at a Hyatt somewhere. Like I said, I've been about 4 or 5 years in a row, and he keeps it really big. I mean, when it comes down to former talent, he seems to bring in everybody.
Yeah, anyone that's not under contract with WWE usually has some kind of a presence. I just hope that next year when WWE returns to AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, we'll be back in Dallas for WrestleCon, and we'll have a good time that weekend. And I don't know, who knows what the normal life will look like a year from now. We can only hope for the best with different strains that come out. I know Howard Miller is on one of the computers in the background researching these strains right now. But, at least it's better than nothing. At least it's better than last year when everybody was cooped up at home watching a WrestleMania in a warehouse.
And there's the point. At least, you're right, it's better than nothing. It gives something. And then, too, it's smart because you don't want to go all out, because everybody is not ready to venture out like that.
Right.
So the numbers make sense. The numbers make sense all the way around, because you are catering to the numbers that you expect are going to want to venture out and be part of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I get you.
You don't want to do it like the whole world opened up, because it has not.
No. You don't want to go overboard.
In people's minds, the world has not opened up, so everybody's not just gonna jump on WrestleMania. If they wanted to sell out the stadium 60, 70,000 people, even if they allowed it, 60, 70,000 people are not coming.
Well, I mean, if they're having a hard time selling 25,000 seats right now, can you imagine if they wanted to try put a full house in there?
Oh my! Well, yeah, I mean, that's no imagination. It was not gonna happen. So
What I
they
find
were
interesting.
smart enough to not do it.
What I find interesting, Oscar, is I don't know how much you follow MMA and UFC, but they booked a live UFC event in Jacksonville, Florida, I believe, on April 24th, 100% capacity, and it sold out within minutes.
Well, then that's just that's really that's just a testament on the direction that we're going. Because as far as sports and ticket sales and people coming back, we're on the right direction. But my question is, I mean, is it too soon? We're bending the curve, as Fauci would say, or anything else. But, are we doing too much too fast? We've gotten a handle on the coronavirus with the vaccine, but we haven't beaten it. You understand
Correct.
what I'm saying?
The match isn't over yet, so to speak.
Right. So, I mean, so are we running the risk of making things worse by giving people a false sense of security, and then they go out, then the numbers go up because everybody got together before everybody got vaccinated and nobody else could spread the virus?
Would you feel comfortable attending an event like WrestleMania with 25,000 people in an 80,000-seat football stadium?
No, I wouldn't go.
Really?
No, not right now. Nope.
So I'm gonna guess.
I said, there's a lot of things I would do, but there's also a lot of things that I wouldn't right now because to me, we're not there yet.
So I'm definitely going to guess you wouldn't want any part of a UFC event that was open to 100% capacity.
Oh, no.
Well, hopefully Florida isn't jumping the gun too much. I was down there, been to Universal Studios twice, the amusement parks over this time, and I feel they've done a good job as far as the sanitation goes, making sure the people's hands are constantly clean, the rides are constantly clean. On the planes, I was impressed with the cleanliness. I think right now, as far as the travel goes, as we noted the first time we attempted to do this show, where there's so much scrutiny and everybody's eyes are on these hotels, these entertainment venues, planes, and so on, I don't think there's a time you're going to find it any cleaner. I think once the rules become a little bit more relaxed is when we're really going to need to worry, because people might not be as adamant about the cleanliness.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something to think about because, I have a little, major little travel glut coming up. I've got an interview that I'm doing for Netflix in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Coming up in a couple of weeks. And then right after that, we're going to Las Vegas for a little R&R. And then I'm doing a concert for a political action committee up in Moab, Utah, directly after that. So I'm saying that to say that, my eyes will be on how things are handled as far as the cleanliness go. Of course I'm going to social distance, and take all the precautions that they'll take because, I'm one of those people that, now I'm not as healthy as I used to be. I have underlying conditions. I just had a defibrillator put in for my heart. So I got to be extra careful on how I move around as opposed to this time last year. So my eyes will definitely be on it.
You have to. You don't have any say in the matter. You have to keep your eyes open.
No, you have to keep your eyes open. And it's like I say, see something, say something. And I know, what they say about snitches, but I'm snitching. They need to wipe that down.
You got that right, baby.
Hey, you're too close. Don't let that dirty man on the plane. He got maggots. Whatever it is.
That's right. Personal hygiene, I don't think has ever been more important than right now.
Yeah, no, it's even in the house by yourself. You still making sure you clean, smelling right, making sure every orifice of your body is clean, and you can live with your own hygiene because it's just. But you know what? Some good come out of anything. Everybody should be hygienic all day long, every day, anywhere, and under whatever circumstance. So if it gave us anything, it gave us that. And so thank you, Corona, for at least making us all cognizant to our own good hygiene and health.
All right, well, there you go. All right, Oscar, we've hit about the halfway point right now. We're going to take a brief timeout, fans. When we come back, we're going to be back with more of Episode 1, Oscar and Men on a Mission, Wrestling Insiders. Stand by. Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It's all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now available on eBay. You can add this to your collection. Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event. Number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. Very happy to be joined by longtime friend Oscar of Men on a Mission. It is WrestleMania season, a lot going on under the most unusual circumstances as the coronavirus way of life now has surpassed just a little bit over a year since the true restrictions started to affect everybody in the country. Oscar, what are you looking at as far as the landscape in the industry goes right now? It has affected every promotion from top to bottom, whether it be WWE and their Thunderdome presentation, whether it be AEW, who was the first to allow fans back into venues at Ursula Daly's place in Jacksonville in a very socially distanced atmosphere with usually about 700 or so fans capacity. Not that they were even selling that many tickets every week. Impact Wrestling has literally had no crowds. Ring of Honor has literally had no crowds. Japan has opened up from what little I know of it to a very small degree. How do you see things panning out in very difficult times for everybody? Are you there? Oscar? Oscar? Did we lose you?
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. What happened?
Press the mute button.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad you figured it out.
I'm happy to see that WWE has dominated the industry for I don't know how many years now. I don't think that they've had any competition since the Monday Night Wars with WCW.
Right.
And even though I was active at the time, this was, during the New Generation era when that situation was at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would never have said this out loud back then, but I could say it now. I mean, it's damn near 25 years later. It was healthy to me. Fans had an alternative. The wars were just fantastic because every week they were trying to outdo each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Eric Bischoff was a very formidable leader, CEO, or anything, the counterpart to Vince McMahon. And like I said, fans had an option. Since Vince decided to literally put them out of business, it's been all WWE. There's not an independent that can hold a candle to them anywhere.
Right.
I don't care if they, are scraping up money to have a TV presence. Their TV presence is only going to be in a box, in a small box that is,
right.
Locally pretty much, or, maybe some areas out of their local jurisdiction, but not very many. Ring of Honor came, and then they were able to pretty much expand their presence, which I thought was a good thing. But it was not competition at all. I mean, it was
Right. They've been
their
alive since 2002, but they've really never had much of a national presence. They've never even had really a
Right.
television show that airs at the same time on the same station across the country. That's difficult to build a brand off of.
But now comes AEW, where you have people that actually have the cash to make a real product, put it on a major cable network, which is TNT, not give WWE a run for their money, but make them sit up and take notice with not only the TV presence, but the talent acquisition, the talent that they do have, which is excellent. And I mean, it really is eventually going to turn into a competition, which is comparable to the Monday Night Wars of old with WCW. It's not there yet, but it's going to get there.
Well, I mean, they're off to a great start. A lot of people had the company written off before it even began. You know, they'll be off television within 6 months. But TNT is very happy with a lot of the demographics they're pulling in. They gave them an extension of multiple years on the Turner family of TV channels. I believe a weekly show is going to be added to TNT in prime time later in 2021. They've expanded their presence with the different YouTube exclusive shows. So it's an organization that continues to grow leaps and bounds. They've opened up the wallet a little bit. You've seen them sign someone like Jon Moxley, even though he was unhappy in WWE and was on his way out anyway. That was an impressive face to see from the national brand come to AEW. Now you've seen a couple of legends that are much closer to the end than the beginning, and guys like Sting and Big Show and Christian all come to the company to give them a little bit more credibility when it comes to marketing, merchandising. Maybe not as much in-ring as when it comes to what I just mentioned a minute ago, some of those outside-of-the-box promotional matters that sometimes fans don't look at. It's going to be interesting to see what happens once some of WWE's big contracts expire, because they were smart enough to sign up their key players long-term for big money. But as we've noted in the first time we tried to put this episode together, the Khan family has more money than the McMahon family. If they want to spend, they have the ability to spend.
Well, the first thing that WWE has got to do, it's about money, but it's not just about money. WWE has got to keep their talent pool, especially their significant players. They have got to give them incentive, not just cash, but they have got to give them incentive to want to stay.
We mentioned
the hierarchy can't make anybody, feel denigrated. They can't make them feel, when it comes down to storylines, and one of the things that ideas, if it was me, I would give. I don't know if they do it, they might, but I don't imagine that they do. Give some of the talent some input on how storylines are written, especially when it comes down to them, because now they have a vested stake in what happens to what people see of them on television. I think, is that my phone?
No, that was mine, I think.
I think that is very important to making them feel like they're a part of something. And number one, that's really one of the biggest keys to it. You make them feel like they're a part of it. You compensate them fairly for their work, and then AEW can't offer them anything to leave. Now, if you just treat them any kind of way, and you suffering, maybe a loss, so you taking it out on talent compensation, and that kind of thing like that. Then yeah, when contracts are up, contracts are out, people are going to want to go someplace else where they feel appreciated.
Well, I don't know if that was exactly what happened during the Monday Night Wars with some of the money that was being thrown around, but there was a mass exodus of, top nationally known superstars known worldwide leaving WWF for WCW. So as time goes on, I don't think it'll be eminent, but as time goes on, as those Roman Reigns contracts or Fiend's contracts or guys like that expire, would they consider taking the leap of faith to test out AEW if the money is right? I think the answer is yes. There's a lot of unhappy campers in that organization right now.
I'll tell you a short story to make you understand that anything is possible.
All right, let's hear it, brother.
We woke up in Liberty, New York, and came to the arena in Liberty, and we all got the shock of our lives. I mean, everybody from me to Bret Hart. I mean, The Undertaker was floored when we found out that a Macho Man Randy Savage went and jumped over to WCW. Nobody saw that coming. There was no warning. You didn't even think it was possible.
Very unexpected.
It was one of the things that was a rare thing was for Vince to hold a talent meeting. I mean, everybody pretty much know what they were supposed to do. Everybody pretty much know how things went, and we pretty much did things our own way back then. So there was no need really to get any to have any interaction. If you had an issue with Vince, you pretty much went and talked to him one on one. He was that accessible.
Right.
But if there was a talent meeting, that meant that there was an issue that had to have been addressed, and I mean, it had to have been addressed quickly. Right. And in that meeting, Vince, first he told the agents that anybody else that mentions WCW, I guess he said the name WCW, you're going to get fired. He's going to tell you it's been a lovely dance, but that's it. That's all. He was so fierce, he didn't want to hear the word WCW. He didn't want to hear nothing about Randy going over there. He didn't want to hear nothing about it. That was one of the cruxes of the meeting. And then the second part of the meeting was he flattened out threatened the rest of us and was like, you all got contracts and nobody is going nowhere. So if anybody else was thinking about it, you need to think again because no, you're not going. Ain't nobody else going nowhere. And he basically told us all in that meeting. And I'm saying that to say that, the more things change, the more things stay the same. If people's contracts are up, they can do anything they want to do. So don't be shocked if you turn the TV on and you see Roman Reigns in AEW or anything like that, because in my years of living, I've come to find out, not just in wrestling, but in life, nothing is impossible. Anything's possible. Big Show's over there. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't.
That was a big surprise. Big surprise. No pun intended.
I thought they had a plan for Christian when it came down to WWE, especially since Edge came back. I thought maybe the Christian and Edge show might be coming back. I thought that they would eventually, get back together or anything. With no chance of that happening now. Christian's over on the other side of the fence now.
He's on the other team.
So that's saying that to say that, I mean, what it's teaching all of us, the lesson to learn is it's a wake-up call for everybody. Anything's possible. Anything can happen. So what I'm trying to say is WWE, in order to keep that from happening and hemorrhaging major talent, is they have got to treat major talent and show major talent why they want to stay, whether they want to do it or not. Because if you don't do that, there's not a check you can write big enough to make somebody go someplace for half the money, mind you, if they over there being treated nice. It's just like a man and a woman relationship. Mm-hmm. If you're treating that woman bad and then she finds somebody who's going to treat her better, where do you think she's going to wind up eventually?
Going to be taking that loving, baby.
So that's just life. You know, you got a vehicle, you still got the woman, you want to keep her, treat her right.
All right. Well, words to live by in and out of wrestling, I guess is a good way to put that. But
Yeah.
you know, AEW, they continue to impress. To me, you watch that show each week, it feels like there's one or two really killer, kick-ass segments on par or even better than what WWE is putting out. And then there's a few segments on those shows. I don't know how they see the light of day on national television. They're so bad. It seems like they have some really high-quality talent. They have some guys that really are green and maybe don't belong on national TV yet, and not much in the middle.
Yeah, but you got to look at it realistically. Isn't that the case on both sides of the coin?
I don't
mean,
think
they
so.
both. You where everything you see on WWE TV is like, I want to see this.
I think the women's wrestling leaves a lot to be desired, where their work doesn't look as crisp and realistic as the men's. But as far as the majority of the men on the Raw and SmackDown rosters go, I think it blows away from top to bottom the AEW roster as far as what those bodies can do.
Well, I mean, that's a given. That's because, you know, when it comes down to comparing the two talent-wise, I mean, WWE got seasoned talent. I mean, everybody is seasoned and know what they're doing. AEW is still in the learning curve, so. But I think that they're going to fine-tune. They're going to fine-tune a lot of that. But see, here's the thing with AEW, and this is the thing WWE done slipped into, and this is the stuff that drives me crazy. You do not have to have high spots the whole show.
Right.
Everything is a high spot. Everybody is risking life and limb. And people wondering why people are getting hurt and they're off TV for 6 months, because you don't have to do a Mankind every match to get a reaction out of the crowd. Years ago, we had wrestling and we had fans that loved the characters, but they did not have to jump off of the roof of the Empire State Building in order for the fans to pop. Right. And fans were invested in these characters. Half, 3/4 of the names of the characters I see on TV right now, I don't even know.
Are you talking WWE?
I'm talking both sides of the character,
Both
especially
sides,
AEW.
okay.
Especially AEW. I mean, besides people like Awesome Kong and Cody and Cody's brother and a few other people. If you gave me a quiz, name 20 people on AEW, that would be $1 million I wouldn't get. I don't know them.
A lot of new
but
faces.
But at the same time, like,
it's hard to
like
get a
I
lot
said
of
about high spots.
No, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, when it come down, to WWE, yeah, I know most of the names. I know most of the characters. Then there's another issue we gonna bring up.
What do we got?
I want to get your take on it. But like I said, on both sides of the spectrum, it don't take jumping off the cage in order, in order to make a match, every time, because it's just unnecessary. Now, when you was talking about the women just now, and it's not just they don't just do this with the women. They do it across the board. Shayna Baszler has done great work in NXT. I give her that, right?
Sure, well,
she gets called up. All right. She gets called up to WWE and gets a starring role in WrestleMania. When you got a whole bunch of other females that have been there in the back and they watching this happen, and this is the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. Should she have gotten that spot in WrestleMania that she's getting? Just now getting called up. She just got called up yesterday, and now she's in a semi-main feature match at WrestleMania. Is that fair to the other women that's not even going to get on the card? That's been there. put in work.
I think you have to look at it from the point of view of what's going to make the best show for the fans. Sometimes you have to take your own personal wishes and ambitions and desire out of it. Is it fair to someone that's on the road 150 days per year to not get a spot on WrestleMania for a newcomer or a celebrity or something like that? In theory, no. But you know what? As you've heard the saying, I'm sure, many times in your life, life's not fair. I mean, it's about making WrestleMania or whatever the show is as big and bold and spectacular as humanly possible. So, WWE has such a small roster of women. I mean, those matches have all been seen before. It's difficult to come up with something fresh and original, which is why they need the NXT call-ups, in my opinion.
I'm not saying that they don't need to get called up, but I'm saying in rewinding the tape back to what my original conversation was. Keeping the talent happy so they don't have the feeling to jump over to someplace else. And calling somebody up from NXT and slighting some other people, like you said, spent 150 days on the road, paid their dues this year, deserving of it, but you call somebody else just up from NXT, and then they get the spot that other people probably feel like they deserve. Is that a way to keep somebody from going to AEW when their contract is up?
It is definitely a way to keep them feeling creatively unfulfilled. I tell you, as someone that has worked in wrestling, enjoys wrestling, is a WWE stockholder, I was so beyond disappointed to see Angel Garza leave the company. Not Angel Garza, Andrade leave the company when he was released within the past week or so by the time this airs tonight. Just unbelievable. You talk about a high-quality athlete. He hasn't even hit his peak yet, 31 years old, in a relationship with Charlotte, one of the top female superstars of the company. Someone that should have been groomed for the main events, in my opinion, and instead was sitting in catering doing nothing since an angle with The Fiend last fall. And now he's going to go make money for some other company that should be WWE. And especially at a time when WWE is such presenting shows with the same characters over. How many Nia Jax segments does someone want to sit through in one night? How many Miz segments or Sheamus segments does someone want to sit through in one night on one show? It's overwhelmingly boring to me. And that's the biggest problem with it, is there's no reason to make it must-see TV. There's no variety to it when you see the exact same people on the same shows every week, a lot of the times facing the same people in repetitive matches or involved in repetitive scenarios, and it's killing them.
Well, okay, maybe you could solve a mystery for me, because I've been wondering something. Where's Alicia Fox?
She is under a Legends contract now. She's not a full-time talent anymore.
Oh.
After she cost Don Anderson her job, which was delightful.
Because she wrestled drunk and Arn Anderson was the agent.
Yeah.
That day, is that what happened?
Yeah. Different points of view from different people, but right, she showed up drunk and, went out and performed, and Arn didn't stop it. I don't know if Arn was aware or not, or how much of the responsibility fell on his shoulders as opposed to hers. I think they'd both go, not just one of them, but Alicia had some, how can we say it politically correct? Situations that attempted to be more than professional with some executives, I was told, or an executive in the company, I was told, and drank with them several years back. So I think she was pretty much bulletproof, and unfortunately, a great legend like Arn Anderson that actually contributed to the industry for decades was out, and someone that contributed nothing to the industry for her entire run to WWE other than being a little eye candy and maybe a nice human being is still getting the check every 2 weeks.
A nice human being, is that what we call it?
She might be. I don't know. I don't know her.
No. She is. I mean, no. I lost contact with her because the reason why I'm asking and concerned was because I had her number in my other phone, and I was like working towards being a mentor for her.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would speak to her, and we would text often. But like I said, I lost her number and I haven't heard from her, but I haven't seen her on TV, and I've just been hearing different things. So,
she showed up earlier in the year
concerned.
on that Legends Raw they used to kick off 2021. She was on.
Yeah, I
that, had
did
a brief
see that.
cameo.
I did see that.
Yeah, but she's not full-time anymore. She's just, talk about an insult to the term legend, but she's on one of the Legends deals, I believe.
No, okay.
So she's still getting the payday, which I guess is good for her. But Oscar, we're beginning to run out of time. Within maybe the last minute or two, tell the fans what they can expect in the weeks, the months, hopefully years to come on our Monday Night Raw pre-show with Wrestling Insiders with Oscar, the man on a mission himself.
Dan and I have a rapport like you wouldn't believe. He knows all the right questions to ask. I'm open to answer. The reason why this show is going to be good is because in any show or any interview that I'm open. I'm not gonna plead the fifth. I'm not gonna dodge questions. I'm gonna give you the best answer I can give, but it's gonna be truthful. You're gonna get my honest opinion about how things are going on TV and off, just not just in wrestling, but in the world. And you're gonna have a great point of view. You're gonna agree with it. I'm gonna give you something to agree with or dispute in high fashion, and Dan is going to ask all the right questions, and we're going to be able to bounce back and forth and have intelligent, great, hilarious discussions. So it's going to be something you're going to enjoy, so stay tuned.
Like Batman and Robin, brother.
There you go.
But you're the one in blue. I'm the sidekick.
If that's how you want to put it.
Well, I don't know. We're still trying to figure out what's going on with I guess now the way to terminologize it would be the former Tuesday night partner in crime, Tony Atlas.
Yeah, you got to stay on because you got to stay on even after we run out of time because we did not discuss that.
We're going to have to save Tony for next week, I guess. We don't want to run into Raw because I think the numbers for our show will drop dramatically once Raw goes on the air. But for those fans that are unfamiliar with it, Tony is in a unique world. I don't know if he's running his Facebook, if he has someone else running his Facebook, but it has not been a good couple of weeks, and you can find out more on social media with that. Oscar she shared some in-depth insight, which I respected a great deal last time we spoke, and maybe we'll talk more about it on episode 2 next week.
All right, yeah, we definitely got to get into it because maybe something will have developed by then. But what you want to do is between now and then, get more into it, get more answers, and if you can, mend some fences. And then that will be a great conversation to have.
All right, wrestling fans, we're running out of time. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions for the man on a mission, if you're watching the premiere on YouTube Monday night at 7, use the little chat box on the right side of the screen, or leave a question in the comment section below, or even shoot us an email, bw@bostonwrestling.com. For Oscar himself, I'm Dan Marty. We'll see you next Monday night, 7 p.m., where Oscar and I talk the WWE Hall of Fame inductions, Tony Atlas, and more. Good night.
Good night.
WrestleMania 14 was sold out at the Fleet Center in Boston Sunday, March the 28th. 1998 was there front and center with future Boston Wrestling MWF co-owner Neil Manolian. In the opening contest, the Legion of Doom with Sonny won a 15 tag team battle royal, last eliminating the new Midnight Express. WWF Light Heavyweight Champion Taka Michinoku retained the title over Aguila. WWF European Champion Triple H retained the title over Owen Hart, with Sergeant Slaughter and Chyna handcuffed to each other. Mark Mero and Sable beat Goldust and Luna Vachon. WWF Intercontinental Champion The Rock retained the title over Ken Shamrock via reverse decision. Jennifer Flowers was special guest referee, who was introduced by Tennessee Lee and escorted to the ring by Jeff Jarrett. In a dumpster match, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk defeated the tag team champions, the New Age Outlaws, to win the titles. The Undertaker victorious over Kane, who tombstoned Pete Rose before the match. And in the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion Shawn Michaels to win the title with Mike Tyson as guest enforcer on the night the Austin era begun in what was Shawn Michaels' final match until SummerSlam 2002. If you were at WrestleMania Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.